everybody? Welcome to another episode of Mansplaining, the show for guys by dudes. I'm one half of the show, Dave, and that's Jake. Hey,
I'm Jake. Hey guys, what's up?
sorry, I didn't actually tell what we're doing. I'm like, hey, we're going on right now. Like, what? Um, yeah, this is the show for we're two. This is a show where two old guys try to give advice to the 22-year-old versions of themselves, or we just talk a lot of crap on here. Like, obviously, the name of this episode is "Learn the Facts About COVID-19," because I wish that somebody would give a shit about one of the episodes or podcasts that I do that they would put a COVID-19 warning on it. So I just did it myself. You know what I mean? So that's just because that
Yeah.
tells you it's like, hey, they probably said something fucking really stupid. I want to listen. So that's what I thought I would put that up there for. You know, man, how's it?
So, Glenn.
Sorry, go for it.
Oh no, I was gonna ask you. Since you've been going through this stuff, have they made you get the vaccine?
No, I know. I had the Johnson and Johnson
Wow.
vaccine a long time ago,
Yeah.
and I just did the one shot really. And
Oh, okay.
they're like, but it's kind of weird though. It's kind of strange. They're like, listen, aren't you worried about COVID? I'm like, no, because I have cancer. I think cancer is way more difficult to deal with than your fucking cough. All right, so fuck you and your fucking COVID.
Yeah.
Why don't you stay 6 feet away from me and kiss my ass? How's that? So they're like, um,
Yeah.
nah, I'm dealing with it a lot more and more because now that for anybody else who's listening to this because they see the fuck cancer tag or something like that that's on there, or see some of the other stuff that I post online, um, I think the more tools that you have and the more ways that I've found to deal with it, and how to actually, how to deal with the chemo and see there's a lot of communities out there with people dealing with the same stuff. There's a lot of people out there. I'm not saying that everybody, but there's a lot of people that have had a lot of great success in getting through the stage 4 colon cancer. So there's been some success stories. So I mean, granted, I mean the doctor, oncologists, and by the way, folks, if you just found out like your friend or your loved one or something like that, just tells you like, dude, I think I've got terminal cancer, and are like, holy shit, and you try to go to an oncologist and see if you can get a word of optimism, that's not going to happen. Not because the oncologist is trying to be an asshole, but they don't want to give anybody false hope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just because it's with when they're it's kind of like it's I'm trying to get people to live as long as they possibly can, and I fucking hope we can find a cure for this, because chances are the reason they got into it is because cancer took somebody that they cared about, and they're like, fuck, man, but I don't want, it's like I want to give these people hope, but at the same time, I also know how this ends. I don't want to do that. So the best thing you could do is listen to a bunch of fucking idiots on a podcast like this one called Mansplaining, and I'll be like, yeah, everything's fine. I don't give a fuck. Give me a burger. No. By the way, I'm eating a lot better these days. The only reason why, I can't taste shit. And I don't want to eat my favorite foods anymore because it's so goddamn disappointing. Every time I bite into something, I'm like, I could taste a little bit of the salt, a little bit of the pepper, and that's it.
Oh
Like,
man.
I ate ice cream last night, or a little bit of it, and I'm like, I could taste the salt in it. That's it. Like, just a hint of whatever it was, chocolate, vanilla, I don't even know. But it's really weird. I'm like, huh. So now, like,
You could
eating
take.
turned into a thing where, like,
You,
I need this many calories. All right, I don't, just give me something that's tasteless. I'll do that.
wait, so you could taste the salt
Yeah,
in the ice. Wow. What is that all about?
that's weird. It's like tasting a bunch of mush that has a hint of salt in it. That's exactly what it is. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not fun. But let's be honest, man. If that's the worst thing I got to fucking deal with, you know what I mean? So,
Oh, it's because is it because the chemo? The
yeah,
chemo does it to you, right? Is that what it is?
yeah, it's a side effect of the chemo.
Ah.
Same thing with like
Okay. Yeah.
breakouts, rashes, and all this other stuff. Because at first they were like, yeah, these are what the side effects are going to be. But you usually experience it within like 4 to 7 days. And I got past the 7th day and I'm like, I should be fine. And then boom, I'm like, no, wait a second, I've got all the side effects. I'm like, ah, shit. So,
Oh man.
and
Shit.
so I still have like the sore throat that
Well,
makes eating difficult. And my neck is healing. It's doing better, but there's a reason why I'm leaning back like this, guys, is because if I try to sit up like this, I can only do it for a certain amount of time before my neck starts going down. I'm like, fuck, you know. But yeah,
oh man.
we're moving forward, dude. This is way better than where we were at like a couple of weeks ago. Definitely a month ago. Go look at the past couple, like, go 3 episodes back and understand I was doing that shit with a broken neck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, God, dude, that's so wild to think about that. That is really, I mean, man, that is wild to think about. You, like, not only did you work, you did stand up, and you did podcasts with me, all with a severely broken
yeah, I
neck.
know.
That is fucking, yeah. God damn, dude. It's one of those things, like, I know, like, we know what's going on, like, all that stuff like that,
Yeah.
but it's one of those, like, it hasn't really ever hit me until probably just now. That, like, that's what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
wow.
That's the fun shit about
Yeah.
this world, right? You know what I mean? It is a bizarre thing indeed.
Yeah.
Now the weird thing is that, like, listen, broken neck. Had you not fucked with my nerves and my arms and my legs, I wouldn't have said shit. I wouldn't have known what was going on. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Excuse me. But yeah, that was the reason why I had to stop. Otherwise,
Pretty much.
other than that, I was powering through work. I was doing a bunch of other shit.
But yeah, yeah, that's fucking insane. But
all right, so
I'm fucking with the computer, right?
you hanging out there because I know this is your first summer in Phoenix, man, and I know that's not an easy one. Because it's like, how much hotter is this gonna get? And I'm like, August was always the worst month for me.
Okay.
August until halfway through September.
July's rough. Like, I'll go outside to go smoke a cigarette, and I'll be sweating my ass off.
Oh yeah.
And I'm in the shade. I'm in the goddamn shade.
That's a good thing, though, man. It's good that you're sweating. As long as you're sweating, you're good. It's when you're not sweating. That's when you're like, ooh, shit. Like, that's because that means you're going to start feeling heat stroke next. So you work inside or outside, or you just driving, or what are you doing?
Okay, so here's the thing. This is the funny part about this whole situation. My day job is I work in a cooler, like, for boar's head. So the temperature of where I'm working at is like anywhere between 35 to 40 degrees.
Nice.
Right? So then when I go outside to go smoke a cigarette, or when I go to Leaves, dude, it is fucking bananas. Like, my body just has no idea what's going on.
Right.
Like, I'll get in my car after been, working like 6-7 hours, like, in a cooler all day long, and I'll be wearing a hoodie. It'd be 105 outside. I start driving, and then I'm halfway home, and I realize it's hot as fuck.
Yeah.
Because my body is, like, thawing out.
Right.
It's fucking weird. It is so weird to go from, like, 35 to 100, 105.
See,
like the swing of a door.
Now, the weird thing is you already went through one winter there, so you kind of know that it could still be a little chilly. But what's going to happen, though, is that by next year, you're going to be like, oh, it's only 45 degrees or only 50 degrees out there. I don't need a coat, whatever. I fucking grew up in New Hampshire. I lived in Denver for how many years, man? I don't give a shit. Thing is, your body has gotten so used to the temperature out there. Fucking 50 degrees is going to seem like it's freezing to you. And you're like, shit. And the weird thing is with Phoenix is that it might be like that you have those days where it's 75 during the day and gorgeous, but then it drops down to 35 at night. And the temperature just plummets, and you're like, that most humans can't deal with that. And you're like, it was better to have a jacket with you. But yeah, that's the fun part about fucking Phoenix, man. I think I might try to go out there in January, by the way. So that's when I should have my my benefits should be kicked in by then. So So this is a fun thing that happened. This is why I'm gonna freaking throw up the GoFundMe on the chat room right now. Just a second. Right. There we go.
Well, why don't you do that? Yeah, there it is. It's in the chat, everybody.
Yep. See.
No, the one wild thing is, like, I remember that winter. Because I remember it was like around Christmas time, or it was a little bit after Christmas time. I went out to my car. It was like a Monday. I had to go to work, and I had to pull out a fucking credit card and scrape the frost off of my windshield.
Right.
And I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I'm in the desert. why am I doing this? And it
Mm-hmm.
was fucking cold. Like
Yeah.
I remember I had to go inside and get a fucking jacket, and I'm like, but it's only like 32. Like yeah, I mean, I get to be wearing a jacket. Even in Denver at 32, I'm wearing a jacket, but like it fucks with your head.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
really fucks with your head.
So this is one that really freaked me out one night. I was going to film. Me and my cousin were filming my friend's band at Hotel Congress in Tucson, right? And so we drive all the way down there, and we do the stuff. And I'm not feeling good. I kind of got a fever and shit, but I'm like, fuck it, we're gonna power through this shit. So my cousin takes a lot of the film and all this everything, and we're gonna record. We did all the recording, and we're like, all right, we say goodbye to everybody. We get in the car, and this is my Corolla, the little blue Corolla that I used to have. We start driving back from Tucson to Phoenix, and I wasn't prepared for this. Um, about 10 miles north of Tucson, I'm like, what's that in the road? Oh, I think that's fog. And then suddenly, you're driving through like fog that where you cannot see 6 inches past your windshield. Like super fucking thick
Oh my
fog.
god.
And I'm like, this is the desert. Is this supposed to happen? Yeah, apparently it does. So yeah, that was fun shit too. But yeah, it's weird stuff. Like I've never really have to deal with fog in Colorado. I mean, occasionally, like if you'll see it when you're driving up I-25 once you get past Thornton or something. You know, like oh, there'll be these little dips and these little valleys that have
Yeah.
fog. You know, but nothing that's too crazy. But if you're driving from let's say I-36 all the way out from like fucking 50 miles east of Denver. Like that one time when Jenny and I were driving
Yeah.
back from Oklahoma, and I had to deal with black ice and fog all the way home. Like, and I was driving for 16 hours that time too. I don't know what kept me up, but I was just like, I don't know. It was, yeah, that was a fun day.
I was stressed.
Yeah. Well, my whole thing was,
Yeah.
man,
No,
is that if we got into a
yeah.
wreck, I didn't want her to be the one that felt like she caused it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, if we get in a wreck, let it be because something that I did, or I'll take responsibility for it and stuff. You know what I mean? But I knew that she would be
Yeah.
really freaked out doing it. She would do it, but I knew she would be scared. Well, I'm like, well, listen, I'll put it on my shoulders. I'll fucking take care of it. And that's the only thing I kept thinking. And this sounds like such a broy thing to say, but all I kept thinking about is like, just get her home safe. Just get her home safe.
Yeah.
It's like I could hear my dad from beyond the grave, like, come here, pussy. Make sure she gets home safe, you little fucker. I'm like, oh, Dad, I think all I wanted to hear that you love me. I'm like, you know what? I'll tell you when you get her home safe, you little fucking. I mean, you know. But but yeah, no, we got home safe, and then I was like, yeah, okay, shit. You know, you just got to channel some of that dad energy sometimes. That fucking angry,
Yeah.
just get that shit done, dad energy. Like, uh, you know what? I think we need to come up with a segment on this show. That's we should just call it uninformed news because I would like to talk about stuff that's on the.
Uninformed.
Yeah, exactly. Like I just want to see. I would love to talk about um, stuff that's in the news, but the thing is that like I'm not an informed person. like what?
So what we should do is get like a fucking like a headline
Mm-hmm.
and not read the article and just guess what it's about.
Okay, let's do that. 1 second here. I'm gonna go to my Google News feed, which I honestly don't check my Google News feed anymore, to be honest with you. Because once I started feeling, I'm like, oh, man, all you got to do, like, I'm a more of a liberal guy than anything, but, dude, the more that all you got to do is watch like one conservative video or something on YouTube, it suddenly just starts fucking up with the algorithm, and then you're like, hey, here's a video about why guys think that women should go back in the kitchen. I'm like, what? Why? That's not what I. All right. Let's see.
Yeah.
All right.
My favorite is the. Go ahead.
Okay, here's one. This one I read because actually it was. I'm not gonna say this little fucker's name just because fuck him. Highland Park 4th of July parade mass murders suspect through people who knew him. Okay. So this is something I heard about that fucking that fucker who fucking ruined 4th of July. I don't know why he did it,
Yeah.
right? I don't know why he did it, other than
Yeah.
if he just wanted to be famous or if there was a political agenda behind it. I know no matter what happens, who the fuck's gonna listen? Oh, wait a second, we got an ad starting. We're gonna wait 1 second. I got. We're actually on a break right now, I think. So,
What happened?
so do you see an ad in progress? I don't. It says there's an. Oh, there says
Like
there.
you're breaking up.
Oh,
What's up?
sorry. Hold on 1 second.
Oh yeah, now I do.
Okay. All right.
we have
Yeah,
we have an increase.
that's what's going on. I was like, oh, because I have this thing set up where there's 3 ads an hour. Because I thought I would give it a shot and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I might as well, man. I'm just fucking sitting at home with unemployment, waiting for that to kick in. Which, by the way,
Yeah.
Social Security wants to prove that you haven't had any income for 5 months before they give you any money. So thanks for that.
Damn.
Yeah. Hence the reason that was like we're worried
Yeah, right.
about getting our insurance payments and all that other stuff done. Hence the reason for the GoFundMe. All right, we got 26 seconds left.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I see the ads. The ads they give us is hilarious.
Ah, what did you get?
I got Papa John's and I got Xbox One. Now I have what's this one? Is this a Jordan Peele movie? Yep, Jordan Peele.
Nice.
Yep. It's black folks in the frontier and they're being kidnapped by aliens.
Nice.
Yep.
All right, guys, we're back. All right, because now we're putting ads in the show because Dave's a greedy fucker. Dave needs to make that an extra penny an episode because that shit adds up. And I got a long ways till I get that $100 payout.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Okay, so about the fucking Highland Park, you ever see shit in the news and you just that like are they trying to fucking troll me? Like, was that the only picture they could have put up about that guy? You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got that freaking douchebag fucking smile with little flower tattoos and shit like that, and I'm like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's weird, but apparently, this dude had made like the cops knew him. He had made threats before, and they had interviewed him and stuff like that. But this is the weird thing is that, like they found a bunch of knives in his room, and then his dad covered for him and said, "No, those are mine. I just kept him in this room for it." Which I'm like, oh. So I get it. He's trying to he's trying to protect his son. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I don't have a son of my own, but if I did, maybe I might feel the same way. You know what I mean? Try to give that guy a little bit of the doubt. But the thing is, he goes to buy a fucking gun, and he needs to be sponsored by somebody who's older than 20, apparently because of something in his record. And his dad's the one who fucking sponsored him. You know what I mean? Like the civil suits against his dad should be fucking outstanding. Like that dude should fucking probably like be penniless or not see the light of day either. It's just I don't know, man. I think people need to start hitting their kids more. I know that's uninformed news, but I don't know. Obviously, there's something that was really, really fucking wrong with this guy, and either his dad didn't know what to do or chose nothing to do nothing, or I think he didn't know what to do. I think there's a lot of parents out there that don't know what to do. Not that I do, but is that just are we just really really reaping the symptoms of a society where we have to have everybody working all the time and there's nobody to stay at home and not freaking show some kids some love or anything? But I don't know. Did you hear anything about the mom or?
I know that his mom actually ran for mayor of the town.
Oh, really?
And yeah, she ran for mayor and actually lost to the current mayor that they have right now, which is mind blowing. But I got a different opinion about it. I mean, you're onto something with yours.
Right.
Mine is, I think this dude was all prescription pilled out. He was all about Xanax and shit.
Right.
No. In his rap career, like he wanted to be a rapper. And this video of him rapping, not very good, but the style that he was going for was like a Xanax, was like a fucking Xanny rapper.
Really?
Like a fucking like a little Xan, or like a fucking who's another like big time fucking just like codeine sipping Xanax taking rapper type of, you know what I mean, like that, like, oh man, and then they kind of have like that whole
right,
thing,
like
and
the
they
mumble
fucking
rap,
rap about it,
and then it still has that same no 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 no.
Because
They're just kind of going
they're
through.
fucking Xanax.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fucking Xanaxed out. So I mean, he probably was taking a bunch of SSRIs and all that shit. He's taking a bunch of fucking probably depression medication. And dude, I know this from when I took it years and years and years ago. When I tried to quit smoking, I did Wellbutrin.
Okay.
I took Wellbutrin, and the reason why they gave it to me wasn't because I was depressed. It's because they would give it to you to quit smoking, because one of the side effects was, if you, after like a week of taking it, if you go to like smoke a cigarette, dude, it feels like someone is like stomping you out in the stomach.
Really?
Like it hurts to smoke. Yeah. Wow. That's what they gave it to people. So like after a week of not smoking, I went to go smoke one cigarette, and they were right, it fucking hurts. So I stuck on it for like about a month. But like you wouldn't fucking like, it was the damnedest thing. Like I didn't feel any emotions ever.
Wow.
I mean, I was happy, but I was never like, I was never excited. I was never sad. You know, like I remember having to go somewhere. I think it was like was it a funeral? I don't think it was a funeral. I was going somewhere that was just something sad was going on. It might have been a funeral. And I wasn't like, yay! But I was just like, I didn't feel anything. I felt nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it was the weirdest feeling of my life, because I was like, I just didn't like it. That's why I'll never be an antidepressant. I'll never do it, because it does something to your brain that isn't natural, and it makes you feel like shit. And for some people, it makes them just literally not value like life. It makes you not value because you just don't care anymore.
Right.
Like you almost become like a nihilistic, like a prescription said nihilistic person because of what's in you. And then that's why I think he's doing this kind of shit. Because I mean, you can see a lot of people that are on like these fucking these mood stabilizers and shit like that. It fucks with them, you know. Like they'll be like at a funeral, and they can't even fucking be sad. They can't if they want to be. You know, oh my God, my mom's dead. You know, I feel so sad. But like the whole service, you're like stone faced, and not even like, and kind of smiling, because you don't know what to do. Your brain is just all. It's like they took the smile switch and put it on and snapped it off, so you can never not smile, and it fucks your head up.
I had an ex-girlfriend of mine say the same thing. I mean, she was a good friend of mine, but Amy, back in Phoenix, and she's a brilliant artist as well. And but she told me about like being on antidepressants, but this is way back, like in the early 2000s or early, like mid to late 90s. And she's like, it's a horrible feeling when you want to cry. You know you should cry, but you can't.
Yeah.
And you know that you should be feeling horrible because there was a death in her family, but she couldn't. Like it's kind of like it's weird. It's like being trapped in a prison, but you're not even in your own mind. You're just watching. I'm like, wow, that sounds terrifying. I'm like, yeah, fuck. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think don't fucking talk about. And by the way, just for the record, guys, I do own a gun, so I'm not necessarily a Mr. fucking gung ho 2A advocate, but at the same time, like fucking, I don't know. There's a reason why we have them, and they'll talk about this stuff all the time, but they're never gonna bring up the SSRIs or the fucking psych meds that most of these mass shooters were on. You know what I mean? And they're like, well, correlation doesn't mean causation. I'm like, does that mean to be not fucking talk about it though? Because it's a weird coinkydink though, don't you think? Can we at least take a look? You know what I mean? And you know, like, well, no, we can't. But hold on, let's get this next commercial brought to you by Pfizer. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's some weird shit, man. So I had this weird dream the other night. Like this was one of those dreams where you think you're rich and famous and stuff, and you're on a talk show. It's like a total narcissistic dream.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever have one of those, but they're
Yeah.
great when as long as you're just dreaming it, you know, and you're like, oh, this is fun. And I was on some type of
Yeah.
British talk show, and everybody's having a good time, and then somebody says, or from the audience is like, "Can you explain why Americans love guns so much?" I'm like, "Shit, well, uh, like, okay." And then it was weird. And then I woke up, and then I thought, well, shit, I don't explain this. And I'm like, well, if I had to explain it to, let's say, because there are a decent amount of guns in Europe. It's just not like they can't fucking own them openly, I guess, or at all. But it's not like people don't have them.
Yeah.
I would say look at what the population of France did once they got armed. I mean, there was a French army that fucking tried to take over most of Europe and everything. And granted, they were being attacked, but what changed because of that? Oh, the French Revolution. There was a lot of other stuff that happened with that. When a population gets armed, they suddenly have a lot more power over the ruler, or you know, they at least have leverage. You know, it against from the ruling class, and it sucks to even have to admit, but man, fucking, they're like violence is never the answer. I'm like, you could say that in peacetime, but if a soldier or somebody from another or whatever, whether it's you know your country or somebody else's, just fucking stomped out somebody that you really care about, you're gonna wish you had that gun. You know what I mean? Or at least you know how to fight or whatnot. There's violence is always gonna come into the equation. So because of that, since then, and since because they're like, you know, once when America broke up, broke away from Britain, declared independence, like everybody needs to be armed. We all have to be in this together and stuff. And guess what? We fucking stayed independent. I think if that wasn't in there, and they only tried to do everything through just through a normal through an army, which they couldn't afford then, instead of a well equipped militia. Um,
Yeah.
Dude, if like France, Spain, Portugal, fucking even Denmark, which was a pretty much big trader at that point, they're like, oh wait a second, there's all those 13 colonies over there, and they're not armed. Hold on one second, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go see if I can take away Rhode Island off their hands, and we would have gotten pieced up by the other fucking countries of Europe easily, fucking easily. So in that fucking weapons in his hands, there's a type of political power that you always have. I don't agree with this effect with this outcome, but I remember seeing like I was at a healthcare rally protest during Obamacare in Phoenix. So I saw that was the one and only protest I went to because I'm like nobody's talking or listening. We're not protesting against any particular government. We're protesting against the other side. People who are for or against it, and like nobody's gonna fucking listen. All this who could shout out more, and I'm like this is stupid. This is counterproductive. But the thing is that I've seen like protests get beat up by the cops and all this other stuff. Like you could protest laws, you could protest police actions, you could protest anything you want. But man, remember Wall Street? Um, the top 1% or the 99%. You protest banks, man. The fucking cops will come out super fast to beat the shit out of everybody. That's the one thing that I saw back there. Now that was a bunch of fucking young kids, idealists, a bunch of lefties and stuff. My people, and they got the shit kicked out of them, and they were just ridiculed, and they got fucking ran out of there. And then I remember there was another protest. It was out in the country where this dude was basically he'd been raising or letting his herds graze off of public land for fucking years and years and years without paying any taxes for it. And this is grazing off of land that he doesn't own. That's public land, right?
Yeah.
And you're supposed to pay you can't, if it's your own land, you don't have to fucking pay taxes on your cattle grazing off of it. But it's kind of like, yo, what the fuck, man? It's like letting your fucking neighbor's dog fucking not only shit in your yard, but also in your driveway and in your house, in your mouth, all that type of thing. So either way, they're protesting. There's a bunch of right wingers. They're like, and I don't know if they were libertarians, but they're like, taxation is theft. All this bullshit. The government's trying to rob this guy. And granted, guess what? They all came out there and they protested with guns. And there was a completely different outcome for this fucking cattle for this rancher versus those young kids that were fucking protesting the top 1% or the Wall Street stuff. Now, granted, that's a very very broad look at everything, but when you're armed, you have a different. I mean, granted, shit can go south really fucking badly, really quick. There's the whole death thing. There's the whole violence, the whole gunshot, the whole fucking blood thing, right? That's entirely possible. So, but you have this, and you have this political power to keep the fucking tyranny from like current. It's also ancient humanity forever coming back. You know what I mean? Like a king walking around with his soldiers and stuff, just fucking doing prima noctem. Well, no, you can't do that anymore. It's not that people wouldn't do that, and it's like, well, we got laws and we evolved. I'm like, no, no, we didn't. There's still cults. There's still a bunch of this shit. It's just that society is built on different things. Now, that's the one aspect of why Americans love guns, but this is the other aspect that we still got to deal with. A bunch of dead people, a bunch of dead kids. You know what I mean? And that exists too. So it's really hard to say where it's like I think when everybody digs their heels in, it's kind of like nobody's looking at anybody else's point of view on it. You know what I mean? Where it's kind of like, yeah, I could talk about liberty and the fucking the founding fathers and the Constitution all day long, but if I'm not willing to even freaking acknowledge that these mass murdered assholes that go into schools and fucking shoot the place up, they did it with these guns. You know what I mean? Like, I think when they're like, well, that could have happened anywheres, and your laws didn't help anyways. I'm like, oh, that's fucking true too. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a hard one. It's really a hard one because people don't. The people that think that they have the answer and it's super simplistic. It's just take away the guns, and it's like, it's not going to do anything. I mean, it might help a little bit in the short term, but like in the long term, you're gonna fuck yourself.
Oh, big time.
You know, that's just a fact. You're going to fuck yourself. And I mean, look what happened to. I mean, the best example I could give is like, look what happened to Australia. Look what happened to fucking New Zealand when like shit got rough with COVID. Dude, Australia had fucking camps, like FEMA camps, like Alex Jones yelling on the internet. They're gonna put us in camp, like that kind of shit. Australia had that. They had that.
Yeah.
In real life, and it's because like those countries, their citizens aren't armed. And before I hear some asshole in the fucking chat, if there is one, who goes, yeah, well, the government's got fucking this and that and other thing. It's not about the army, man. The cops are gonna not want to fucking enforce this shit because they're gonna get shot trying to, and they know that. That's why Florida didn't work. That's like a lot of these COVID, like, and that's why they didn't even bother trying. Because people in Florida are fucking insane. And like you start going like, what's the mask mandate? They come to your house and they start giving you shit about, well, it looks like you wrote some nasty things on Facebook about COVID and the vaccine. I bet you anything to be dead sheriffs and deputies all over the fucking state of Florida because of that shit. You ain't pulling that shit there.
Right.
You're not doing it. And they know that. They fucking know that. That's why they're like, okay, let's not go crazy with it. But if you know that there's no chance of you getting like shot or assaulted or killed trying to enforce this horse shit, then you're going to do it anyway because you've got some sort of arrogant, elitist attitude like, this is the right way. We're on the right side of history. We're doing it the right way. And you just have to get in line. And that's how they did it in Australia. That's how they did it in New Zealand. That's how they kind of did it in Canada. Where like, they'll have Black Lives Matter protests like crazy, which is fine.
Yeah.
I have no issues with that. If you're allowed to voice your opinion, as long as it's peaceful, it's fine. Which I think in Canada it pretty much was.
Yeah.
But like these truckers just recently who were basically like, get rid of these fucking COVID restrictions. Dude, they froze their bank accounts. They kicked them off of the NIH, the National like Health Services, which is a big thing in Canada. Like everyone gets free healthcare or government funded healthcare.
Yeah.
They're done with. They get kicked off of that. The prime minister, the leader of your country, is on television calling you racist, homophobic, misogynist. Basically, you're the others, and how dare you? You know. And dude, Canada's fucked. I don't know how anybody can even remotely defend what Canada has been doing for the past year, especially with their prime minister is something else.
Yeah.
God damn, dude.
I'm curious to see if he does get. I don't know when his next election is. I don't know how Canada works like that.
It's like 2 or 3 years away. I know that,
Mm.
but like they're stuck with him. They can't do nothing about it, and I mean they got to get him the fuck out of there. That's and I guess he's the son of a very popular old prime minister back in the day. So like he's like the left wing version of W.
Mm.
That's what he's like.
Well, it's
You
kind of
know?
weird. There's a difference between somebody who does well, like when during like a time of crisis, versus like a peacetime. You know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that they were kind of like when everything was before COVID, they're like, no, he's gonna be great. He's this, excuse me, forward-thinking, progressive guy, and everything will like him. And then, yeah, then fucking COVID hits, and they're like, holy shit, how are we gonna handle this? And then you're like, all right, well, we trust this guy, and we trust the government because Canada, they feel differently about their government than we do about ours. They actually get shit. Like they get
Yeah.
fucking national health insurance and stuff like that. So like they get their government takes care of them, their citizens better than let's say America's does. But then again, it's not like it's not like it's a black and white thing. I mean, we don't there's no tribunals out here fucking suing comedians for jokes over there, you know what I mean? So they do have different
Yeah.
things that go on over there. But I think when shit started getting really crazy when they're like, wait a second, you mean this fucking people can't go to a synagogue or a church to pray, but you guys will let them go out and protest, and all this other stuff, and then
Yeah.
just that's when things started going like, wait a second, now it's starting to, this doesn't seem all hunky dory like it did before, and I'm like, yeah, everybody's got a dark side, man, like
No.
everybody. Like I'm curious to see how Obama would have handled this. Like, what if Obama had done something that's like even just more, all right, everybody, I'm gonna need you to step outside your front door and turn around, drop your pants, and a government agent will be by to stick his finger in your butt. Anyone refusing the finger in the butt
Yeah.
will get one warning and then be subdued and tied down and get 3 fingers in their butt. Now, it might be from one hand, or it might be from 3 different people. So, you decide how many fingers and how often you want them in your butt. So, I mean, he could have done something fucking crazy like that too, but I don't know. It is such a bizarre thing. So, all right. So we talked about the fucking asshole, about the gun shit, right? Um, there was my favorite podcaster, Joe. Well, one of my favorite podcasters, Joe Rogan. Uh, he was in the news again this week because on Lex Friedman's podcast, he said that he had been offered or requested that, or Trump requested to be on his podcast a couple of times and refused every single time. He's like, I don't want to help the guy. You know what I mean? And what was kind of so interesting about that is that there's so many people that insist that Joe Rogan is like a super ultra right wing guy, and then all of a sudden, hey mom, what's up? Okay. Oh yeah, no, that's fine. All right, sorry, it was my mom. Um, sorry. That it's so funny that they put something out like this, and I'm curious to see how. Yeah, well, that's because he doesn't want to blow his covers being an ultra right wing guy. I don't know. But I thought that was kind of interesting that,
Yeah. That's
like, I think what was it? It was said, I think it was by one of his friends on another podcast, that Rogan's kind of done with having political people on his show or politicians on his show, unless they're like a friend of his or something, which I
yeah.
think is a really, really good idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that was one of the things, like, I loved hearing a fucking 3 hour long conversation. Like, I would love to see Dan Crenshaw back on there, just because I want him here to explain his fucking stock purchases. Because there was a lot of things
Yeah.
about Dan Crenshaw that I liked, but I'm like, dude, you're one of the guys, one of the fucking congressmen that was making a decent amount of money off of this, off of the Pelosi and her fucking big tits, making all that money, her old titties and shit, flopping around Congress
Oh,
floor.
dude, I called those a long time ago.
Really?
A long time ago. Yeah, it's like I remember, like this was like I don't know, 20 years ago. I was hanging out with a friend of mine, and she was so I think she was a speaker during she was like the Democrat, if like the Democrats got the House.
Yeah.
She would have been she was the Democrat person waiting in line to do it.
Right.
And she still was like in her 60s and shit. But dude, she had like big old missile tits. dude, what is this? Like, I mean, she wears nice, like really nice shit, so like you can't really tell.
Right.
But like, I was like, but like you could like, dude, it's like it's fucking ridiculous. Like they're fucking huge. And it's not even like it's like I'm looking at them not like in a sexual way, but like in a scientific way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not like yeah, her tits. I'm just like Jesus, where did these come from? What the fuck is this?
Isn't
Like,
that so? That's something that's kind of hey, this is a good point for mansplaining right here, for the young
yeah,
guys out here. The fact that I agree with you. I agree with you whole. This is what I always
yeah,
think about. I'm like, wait a second. I mean, there was a woman in the public eye that had big tits, and I didn't know about it.
yeah. How'd that
What's
get
good?
by
Yeah,
me?
exactly. Like I could have been sexualizing this person this entire time, and no, that was taken away from me. And
That's
I'm
the
like,
big,
wait a second,
yeah,
that doesn't. I'm like, why would she hide them? Oh, wait a second, what I just said. That's the reason why. Okay, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, and I know this because Jenny is my wife is a very busty gal. When she works and stuff, she says she makes it very conscious that she never shows even any amount of skin as far as her cleavage goes, because she never wants that to be an issue. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And I'm like, okay, and that's funny because that's not something I ever have to deal with. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's not like I walk around with a sign that I'm like 3-inch dick. I'm like, why? I don't want anybody to think that I've got a big dick. All right. I don't want it to be an issue. I just want you to focus on me and my performance at work and what I could do for this company. I don't want you thinking about how far I could shoot a
yeah,
load up into your brain. You know what I mean? Like I don't. That should not be an issue of my ability to
yeah,
flip this burger. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
but yeah, that's something as guys we never have to friggin' really deal with, and that's something that women actually do. And is it fair? No, I don't think so. But neither is a pack of wolves fucking attacking a hiker. You know what I mean? Like, that's not fair either.
yeah.
But if you're in the wrong spot at the wrong time, that's gonna happen. Uh,
But like, I mean, but like also like, I mean, it's just not gonna lie, it's been a while for me. So whenever I just see boobs, I'm like, even if they're old, I'm like, what is that? What is this? I'm always on high alert. Not everything's like. It's not. I'll put it like in like Air Force terms. Not
mm,
everything's like a bogey. Not everything I have to attack. But
yeah.
I gotta keep that radar going just to see what's out there. I go, oh wait, no, okay. I saw them. They're boobs. Oh wait, it's Nancy Pelosi. We're good.
All
Move
right.
on. You know
Remember
what I'm
all the
saying? But like,
scandals that she's involved with.
yeah,
Remember all the money that she is the most successful stock trader in all history.
yeah, well, yeah. I wonder why.
Yeah, it's weird. All right, we got about 2 minutes before our next commercial break here, so let's see. We could we get ready for our next Oh, you know what we should talk about next? Fucking Elon and Twitter.
Uh,
So I'm gonna try to think of a couple things we want to say
oh
about that.
yeah,
That one's gonna be interesting.
yeah.
Let's.
I wonder what. I'm just curious on like, is he gonna have to buy it?
That's a weird question because they're definitely gonna.
Yeah,
They're.
because I've heard things.
Mm-hmm. I was reading a few
Yeah.
articles about it last night. I'm like, oh, what are they gonna do with that? But let's see. Oh, celebrity news. This we can get done in a minute, 30 seconds. Johnny Depp, he donated $8 million to a children's hospital, which I thought was really, really great. And also, like, you promised that you were gonna donate this money to the children's hospital, and but I decided to do it myself, so that way they knew this came from Jack Sparrow. I'm Johnny Depp, and I'm better than you. Fuck you, Amber. Like, hey, that's fucking great. That's a class act. I respect Johnny Depp even more. I'm like, man, way to help those sick kids, man. That's fucking awesome. Thank you.
You could tell he smokes Nat Sherman.
Oh, who was?
He definitely smokes natties.
What was it? Fucking Andrew Schultz or something. Like, he was mentioning like roasting the whole thing, but he was like, "Come on, dude, if you're also a dude that dresses fucking weird and talks with a stupid fake European accent, like, you kind of deserve everything you get." So, I don't know. All right, guys, we're gonna take a quick break for a minute 30 seconds here, and we will be back with more mansplaining. You know what this means now is that I actually have to fucking go into the audio and edit this shit. So yeah. See now it says ad starting soon. You'll see the ad.
Boom. Yeah. I'll tell you which one I saw.
Okay.
Just tell me which one you saw.
Oh, no, because I'm on the creator dashboard. So to me, it's I could still just see you. Let me try. Go switch.
Oh, yeah, commercial. It's a Honda commercial.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a pre-owned Honda commercial.
Yeah, because getting new cars fucking sucks.
Then it's Xbox. God. I was like a Samsung Hbox or Hbox. Samsung Xbox commercial.
Nice.
Now it's a Jurassic Park commercial? No, it's a fucking progressive, slow fucking dinosaur commercial. Yep. Let me guess. Right. Yep.
See, I didn't even see anything.
Oh, you didn't see any of this stuff?
No.
That's Papa John. Last one's Papa John.
Shit.
They made a real nice recovery after they got rid of after Shaq bought them.
Well, I appreciate you watching these ads, Jake, because you were definitely contributing to my fund here.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Elon.
Yep, we'll be back here in about 10 seconds here.
Oh, they're already back.
Yeah, this is oh, you know what? I should just fucking make notes. 46. Okay, and we're back here again with the Mansplaining Show. That was a quick freaking commercial break that we had there because, you know, I'm fancy and professional. All right. Let me make a note. Oh, it was every 15 minutes. I can remember that. Just so when I go and edit the audio, I can go back and look and be like, okay, I don't need to freaking keep that minute 30 seconds in there where we're not really saying shit. Because that's just going to be torturous for anybody else who's trying to fucking listen. Yeah, okay, so from what I understand, Elon says, listen, there were certain aspects, there's information that I wanted to get, and you guys weren't giving to me. You were just ignoring, or his lawyers are like, they were just flat out ignoring us because he wanted to find out how many bots were on their service. They were saying maybe 5%. He's like, I think it's more than that. Because if he finds out exactly how many bots there are on Twitter, let's say, now granted, this is just a number I'm pulling straight out of my butt. Let's say they, out of all the users they have, they say 5% of them are bots, but really it's 40% of them. If it's 40% bots, then that's going to be like, well, we're going to renegotiate the price on that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and it's funny because every time he posts stuff, he just gets attacked by it, and it's like the same kind of shit. And it's usually by bots. You know what I mean? So I think that was one of the reasons why he was putting out those kind of silly posts in the first place. Is just he's like, all right, who's going to attack? All right, start finding out how many of these people are bots and who's doing what. So either way, he's saying, yeah, I'm pulling out of it, out of the $400 billion deal. But I think in there it says that he has to give up at least $1 billion even if he doesn't buy it. That was like good faith in the good faith negotiations or something. I believe that's what it was. So, that's where it is. But they're going to be like, nah, dude, you got to fucking, you still need to buy the whole thing. And I'm like, I don't know if he does. You know what I mean? We'll have to see. But yeah, it's kind of weird. I think he's still going to end up having to buy it. I think he's still going to do it. But I mean, I wonder what kind of weird, what kind of fuckery is going on. You know what I mean? Like, if he does buy it, I think I will start using Twitter a lot more. Because I haven't really spent any time on Twitter in a long time just because it's too depressing, man. Like, even the porn on Twitter is really depressing.
Yeah.
Everything is super depressing on Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, if I want to cry out my boner, that's what I would go to. I would go to Twitter, not to my internet browser.
Yeah. No, yeah, yeah. I mean, I never had it. I had it. Why? That's not true. I had it when it first came out back in like 2009.
Mm-hmm.
I had a handle. I had a Twitter handle. I think I had one tweet, just one, and it was like something about work and how, I gotta find something better than this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't anything crazy. I was just bitching about work.
Right.
Because I was washing dishes at fucking Uno's. I
Right.
was washing dishes at fucking Uno's.
Yeah.
So trying to, I was in like that mundane bullshit feeling, but I never did anything else with it, and I never had it on my phone. Like I do look at shit on Twitter. I don't even have an account
Mm.
because I had it, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, this sucks.
Mm.
This isn't fun. Like, what part of this is fun?
Yeah,
So
I don't know if it's weird if I'm just on a different algorithm on Instagram or something, or a different type of thing where because it generally Instagram kind of finds shit that you know that's going to interest you, but every once in a while,
yeah,
like Facebook on the other hand, I keep turning off the reels that keep popping up on the timeline because I don't want to
yeah,
look at reels that come up on Facebook. Why is that? Because for some reason, Facebook thinks that I want to see people getting punched in the face, you know what I mean, all the time, or like domestic
yeah,
violence or something like um, bar fights or something like that. And you're like, you'll never guess what happens next. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I know what's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna get punched in the face. Or hey, look, here's a horrible auto wreck. Why are you showing this to me, Facebook? You know, like, well, our algorithm
yeah,
says you're an asshole, and I don't know. I don't know what it is, um, but yeah, Instagram seems to be more of a happy place. Maybe they just have a different color scheme. I don't know. But I find there's more.
yeah,
It's I don't know. It's just more. I like that better. Um,
yeah. More funnier memes too
right.
on Instagram. Yeah, you can like see some funny shit on Instagram. Facebook is just what people. Facebook is where everyone goes to fight. You know what I'm
Yeah, you know what?
saying?
Maybe I don't know if it's because. And listen, I'm a hypocrite here, because I've been working on this new bit in my act. That I'm like, hey, listen, guys, I hate to tell you this. You're gonna have to fucking have Thanksgiving with your racist uncle or aunt. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to.
yeah,
You have to fucking get along with people that you don't agree with. I'm sorry. It's just one of those things. You want to know why you have to? The past couple of years, that's the reason why you have to. It's what happens when everybody fucking goes into their own fucking tribe. You know what tribes do? You know what tribes love to do? They love to go to war. That's what they do. It's
yeah,
so it's kind of like it's not well like yeah what I'm gonna go to war online. I'm like no they're gonna fucking fight like it's eventually everybody when everybody breaks up into these small groups eventually they're gonna start fighting out for dominance. That's just what human nature is. It's stupid and it's bullshit. But and then I go into this whole thing where I
yeah,
blame it on playlist and Spotify because everybody's so used to listening to only the music that they want to listen to, and so now they can't stand to listen to music. The idea of somebody listening to music to a song that they hate doesn't exist to a lot of young people today and a lot of the young generation. We know that because we grew up having to listen to the radio. You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
not everybody like get this, guys. Just about
No,
everybody had a radio in their car. Not everybody had a tape deck. So to have a tape deck in your car was a
yeah,
big thing, dude. Like, dude, you could listen to a whole album. Like, yeah, it's fucking great. Um, but no, other than that, you have to listen to friggin' like in my case, it was Y102 in the high desert in California, and I only liked maybe about 2 or 3 songs on their playlist out of the 60 that they had. But that's what I had to listen to if I wanted to listen to any of those 2 or 3 songs, and it was just like, God damn it, it's it's horrible. So
yeah, yeah,
it's one of those things. So the idea of having to talk to somebody that I don't agree with, it's not pleasant. It's not I'm saying, oh, it's not a big thing. Like, no, it's tough. It is a pain in the ass, but like it could be done. And you know what? That's one of the ways that you kind of fucking win hearts and minds and stuff and fucking get people to see things your way instead of just calling them names and shit. You know what I mean? It's it's really, really weird shit.
yeah. Well, it's because they don't believe that they're assholes. They think everyone else is assholes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not me, it's them. And it's like, no, dude, it's not just you, or it's not just them, it's you too.
Yeah.
Like this, I really hope that we find an end to people thinking that their shit don't stink. That's the problem. That is the biggest problem we're facing right now as a society. It's like there are too many people who probably use the phrase, "I'm on the right side of history." It's like, shut up. How the fuck do you know?
Yeah.
Like, you on a time machine? Like, you don't fucking know this shit.
I
Plus, like,
guarantee
you
you
don't know what kind of the shit you're doing could be causing more damage than you fucking think. You
dude,
don't fucking know.
I guarantee you there had to been at least a couple of fucking Germans inside of Berlin in 1945 that thought they were on the right side of history until they saw Russian troops marching down the street, beating the shit out of
Yeah.
everybody on their way to fucking shoot Hitler. You know what I mean? And they're like, fuck,
Well,
I guess we're not.
Yeah. Well, it's that famous um, BBC fucking skit where it's two German soldiers
Mm-hmm.
and they're talking about how the war's going, and then one of them stops, looks at the other one, and goes, "Are we the baddies?"
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
No.
Where he asks them, like, "Are we the bad guys? Are we the bad guys?" That self-realization, like, "Oh fuck, we are the bad guys."
Right.
And like, they don't have that. They don't have that because there's some shit that they do that's fucking not okay.
Yeah.
Super fucked up, and they don't want to acknowledge it. And they always argue with bad faith. They never like the whole abortion thing. I'm not going to talk about it, but like just the way that they're arguing it, it's complete bad faith. It's they do it all the time. Like take the fucking the basketball player in Russia, she's in jail right now, Brittany Granger, who plays. Funny enough, plays for the Phoenix Mercury right here in my city that I live in, and yeah, nobody cares. But it's the WNBA. But like her coach said, if this was LeBron, he'd be out by now. First of all, he would never go.
Right.
Wouldn't have to. Right. Secondly of all, LeBron wouldn't be bringing a fucking weed pen cartridge with her to him to a country that we're currently at fucking war with, and then openly brandished around like it's no big deal, like you think you're hot shit, and then you get fucking arrested. And then you bitch and you complain about, I have to be out of here, yada yada yada. You gotta come save me. It's like, you fucked up. You fucked up. Trust me, this guy, there's a dude, is an American dude in North Korea right now who was supposed to be let out with an Otto Warmbier kid, but they kept him behind. So that dude's still in North Korea. So, and you just got a minor drug charge. This dude's doing hard labor for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And you're just like, but they're pleading with the American embassy to trade her for like some fucking like gun runner. And it's like, what the fuck? So we're gonna trade Brittany Granger, who through her own incompetence fucked up in a country she should not have been fucking up in. And we're going to trade her for a guy who's probably legitimately a threat as a arms dealer, as an illegal arms dealer. Yeah. No. Fuck you. Not happening. Sorry,
I think they can negotiate better with that. They're like, listen, okay, I can't give you the arms dealer. I got a guy. Shit, what position does she play? I'm like, all right. I got a guy that jaywalked. How's that? Like, I'll tell you what. I'll give you.
Yeah.
And they just start coming up with somebody else. They're like, all right, do we have any of their athletes in jail? We don't. Like what? We don't. None of their athletes. All 50 states. Nobody caught nothing. All right. We'll talk about that later. All right. So, it's fucked that she's stuck over there, and it's fucked that it's kind of like, because we're not technically at war, but we're also not at war. Yeah, I don't know, but I did see that headline that this was LeBron, she'd be out by now. I'm like, well, it's a shit argument. I mean, listen, I understand that it's her player and it's her friend and stuff who's caught over there, so I get that. I understand being emotional about that. That does make sense to me, but it's also kind of like, hey, how come freaking what was it? Again, Emily Blunt, how come she doesn't make as much in a movie as The Rock does? That doesn't seem fair. I'm like, well, wait a second. There's a big difference between such and such of that. But how about we use a better comparison? Because it would be like if you said, like if you had the same movie and you're like, all right, so Angelina Jolie in a starring role, and Dwayne Johnson is also in that movie. I guarantee you're probably going to see if now, granted, if now they're just actors, they're not executive producers or anything like that, just actors and stuff. They're probably their salaries are going to be not similar, but I would say that they're definitely going to be very competitive. Because that also depends on what kind of agent, what kind of lawyers you have in order to freaking get that kind of money
Yeah.
and stuff. But but Angelina Jolie is a big fucking draw. Like, and they know that every time they put her in a movie, we're gonna make at least $100 million on the opening weekend. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
Jennifer Aniston, if it's a romantic comedy, they know whatever they put her in, they're gonna make X amount of money. You know what I mean? So that's really all that goes down to. But it's like when they say, well, how come somebody who can barely draw flies, how come they don't make as money as as the person who makes the
Yeah.
most? I'm like, yeah, that's a weird comparison. I don't know. But holy shit, dude, this is the first time in a long time we've done the show for more than an hour.
Whoa!
Finally,
Yeah, we did it.
we did it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Uh, I'm glad that we barely talked about COVID and then we named this episode. Learn the facts about COVID. Um, Man, this has been really. I don't know how I'm gonna feel next week because I'm gonna be doing the second round of chemo. But you're not you're out of town next week anyways, right?
Yeah, I'm flying out on Saturday.
Okay.
I'll be in town. I'll be in New Hampshire the whole week. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so here's the funny part, right? The place we got that we're all going to be at is like this huge. I didn't know this. I just found this out like 2 days ago. I knew it was a big house we were going to be in.
Okay.
Right? I knew that. But dude, this place is a fucking compound.
Whoa.
Like there's access to a lake. They got boats. They got a bunch of like 10 acres of land or 15, something stupid like that.
That sounds
like basketball
great.
court, fucking tennis court. Dude, it's fucking huge. I didn't realize it. But it's like up in the mountains of New Hampshire and shit. But yeah, so we leave. I'm taking a red eye on Saturday night. Should be in town in Boston like around 6. I'm trying to rent a car, but you know how that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might not even bother. But then I'll be back the following Saturday to be back at work. So, woo!
Yeah.
Can't wait.
That's freaking awesome, man. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I know it's like having family around me. It's so weird. I got so used to being away from family that once you're around it again, you're like, oh, yeah, I forgot how this could be.
Yeah.
This is really cool. I do miss this.
And we're making it a point too to only have it be our nuclear family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like mom and the kids, and that's it.
Nice.
Like nothing. Like our cousins, we're gonna go see them because they're in the area.
Right.
It's like we're gonna avoid them. Well, we might avoid some of them. That's a whole different story.
Right.
But when it comes to doing shit like that, like going out to eat together, going out to dump my dad's ashes, all that stuff, going to the beach, it's just gonna be us.
Yeah.
That's it. Not like this cousin, that cousin, this cousin, that cousin. Fuck that. No. Like, we'll come and hang out with you later, but we're doing this together.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be nice.
Well, that's good, man. I appreciate. I hope you have fun on your trip. I appreciate you still being part of this show, man, and fucking sticking with me through all this shit. So thank you so much for that.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I also want to thank all of our fans, especially the ones. Listen, I understand that we weren't putting out a lot of episodes, guys. I totally get that, but India fucking dropped off as far as one of our most trusted fucking geolocations to hit up and fucking do a lot of shows in. So let's see, what did we have here? Let me see. Where America, of course, is always at number 1. Up strong number 2. This is the past 30 days. America number 1, India number 2, and then distant 3rd, 4th, and 5th would be Australia, Ireland, and Thailand. So, yeah, you know what? I want to say thank you to India for fucking sticking with us, man. We appreciate that. So, I need to start learning either some Urdu or Hindi and start using some words and shit. So, thank you so much, guys. All right. So, okay, I don't want to say stay toxic anymore. What should, stay manly? Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do that. All right, guys. Signing off for the Mansplaining Show, I'm Dave.
I'm Jake.
All right, guys, stay manly. All right.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.